What's going on YouTube? It's Donnie. God, my hands are full. I got one hand full. I can't do my normal thing. It's Donnie B all day. So, kind of a rip-off right here. I used to do all my old videos. D-bad little big man. Ooh. And at some point I would do notching in all my videos. When I tested a knife, I would do notches and see how well the thing notches. And I would do all kinds of different notches. I would do a tri-stick basically on almost every video. And then I get reached out to by Scabber, Choir Boys Outdoors, and Scabber says, hey, here's a challenge, doing tri-sticks. You should do it. And I'm like, some bitch, you know how many of these I've done? So, looks like I have to take part in this challenge. It's going to be a little difficult because the stuff I have to work with here right now is uber nasty, sticky, sappy stuff. So I had to make sure I have like nothing on my hands, like no rings, no nothing, because I'm about to get nasty and sticky. So what I'm going to do is I need to find a stick, and I'm going to use my my D-bad little big man to help process it. Now, when you're doing something like this, you want something that's pretty much less than an arm length. And you don't want something too thick, but you don't want something too thin. Too thick and you're trying to go around, it's just going to be a whole lot of work. Too thin and you're just going to bite right through it. I don't know, this one might be all right. Let me test it. So, since I'm holding you guys, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one-handed so I can show you, but what I'm going to have to do is take away... we're getting nothing but rain right now for the next couple days. Hold on. So I'm not really doing a lot outside because of the rain, but what I need to do is just peel the stick down and take off this kind of stuff. So hold on. Okie dokie, party people. So this is what I ended up with. It's about wrist to armpit, just about, pretty much. You don't need anything more than that for something like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like the main 9. There's all kinds of different notching you can do, but we're going to do the main 9. I know it's bowed. You can try and get as straight as possible, but it's okay. As long as it's flat with no knots and things like that in it, we're going to be good. I cut off both ends. Little big man always comes through. So now we're going to do 9, and I wrote them down so I remember which ones I want to do. We're going to do a blunt end, so I'll probably do it on this end, where we want to do a rounded end. We're going to do a saddle notch, which is just a curved notch like you'd think a saddle. We're going to do a 90-degree, boom, boom. We're going to do a reduction, which means just make the stick smaller, so it has to be equally as round as it started, but smaller. So you'll see what I'm talking about. Then we'll do a beam, which is 4 square notches all the way around, so you make a square. We're going to do a V notch. We'll do a hook notch. Those are good for like hanging a pot of water over a fire, or even bowing, so you could string a bow. And we're going to do a hole, which means we're going to have to notch in on 2 sides, make it thinner, and then drill in a hole. And then we'll just do a sharpened end on the other side. I'm probably going to make a mess. I have a bag in front of me, and let's get it done. Now, I was going to think, you know, I was like, ooh, I have my my Randall, I mean, not my Randall, but my I have all kinds of great knives, but I have my Guardian 4, and I was thinking of using that because, I mean, I would take that over a Mora any day when it came to bushcraft. And then I have specific bushcraft knives. I even have like the Toki from Condor, done by Walter Matthews, and I have the Selkman, and both of these would be fan-freaking-tastic knives to use. And that's what a lot of people are going to do, is they're going to say, all right, well, I'm going to take my best bushcraft knife and I'm going to do a little bushcrafting. I decided, because I was going to do that, I was like, okay, I'll just grab one of these because these are going to be the best for it. And then I started thinking, I do these all the time. I do these all the time. So why not choose the absolute worst knife I have and see if I can do that? So I'm going to use this old Boy Scout knife that I found. It's a piece of garbage. I do have a bottle opener though, and that's something. I don't open bottles, but I found this knife, and it was completely rusted shut. The blade was actually rotted to the point where it had big divots in it. So the blade didn't start out like this. It was more of a like a sheep's foot type thing. It had two angular ends, and I just reprofiled the whole blade, gave it a new edge, and that's it. So I'm just going to use this thing that is still kind of hard to open, I guess. But this is going to be my go-to. So I have a couple of blade options that I can use. And one of them, for some reason, really doesn't want to come out and play. And it could just be because my hands have all kinds of crap on them now from messing around. But oh, I want to get it out. Okay, here we are. So the can opener, which I'm not going to need, I got it out for nothing. The bottle opener, which I'm not going to need, got it out for nothing. But I'm going to use the all AWL. It's for leather making. I'm going to use that for when I do my hole, and I'm going to use this for all of my notches. So rather than using a knife that is really good quality and has an immaculate edge on it and all kinds of just greatness to it, I'm going to use something really simple and something really crappy to do this. So first things first, I'm going to start with a blunt end, and what I need to do is just start taking away all of the edge on the top of this notch. Now, I don't know how Scabber wants this challenge to be. Do you have to sit and watch us carve the entire thing? Because something like this could take a little while. But we'll soon. Well, I don't know. Who knows? If I feel like it's going too long, I will stop. The hardest part about this one is when you start with a flat end, you have to make it round. You can't just round the edge and leave a flat top. The whole thing has to be round. So you're going to go lower than you thought you were going to go, and then start bringing it up to the top. So that's what I have to do here, and that's what I'm going to do here. Got that touch screen that I don't know if I can keep going. I might have to turn on the keyboard. But this is what I'm doing. So it's kind of going to be a little boring, so I might just hit pause. I tried doing a different video similar in fast motion, but it goes way too fast and you couldn't really see what was going on. But I'm just going to go ahead and at least get this thing. Although the rest of the notches are going to be a lot faster than this. This one's slow because you really have to take your time and go in circles and make the whole thing round. You know what I mean? Without making it pointy and without making it or keeping it flat. So it's just redundancy. It's just over and over again turning the piece of wood. So much work. This is, of course, I start with the longest and most boring one, but you won't hurt my feelings if you fast forward through this. But it's coming there. It's getting, we're getting a blunt end. It's just making sure there are no corners, there are no edges. And it's going to be rough because this is a very, very sappy piece of wood. So constantly my blade is going to get gunked up. But, I mean, I'm D-bad, damn it. So I'm just going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going. And I think we're almost to a good rounded point where I can just start filing away the top edge. And so we're going to have a blunt end real quick. And it's looking pretty round right now. I know this was boring as hell, and if you stuck with me through this, kudos to you, because I barely stuck with me through this. I was just gonna throw it out in the yard and say, "Yeah, Scab, I did it," and then I lost it because the dog ate it. That's what happened. But Scabs asks, and I have to do because that's what friends do. All right, let's see. All right, so now we have a nice round blunt end. I gotta turn back on this so I can see which. I mean, it really doesn't matter. There's only 9 of them. I could do them in any order, I guess. And of course, I lost the picture. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? All right, so, saddle. So now a saddle is just a swoop. So I'm just going to dig in, dig in, dig in, and I'm going to turn the knife as I dig. I don't know if I have to explain as I go. I don't know what the rules of this are. I don't even know if I had to show you or if I just had to present a stick, but then anybody could present a stick and be like, look what I did, and they went ahead and used power tools or somebody else to do their work. So I think this is the best way to do it, I guess. So let's see. I'm trying to go careful, so I drop all of my shavings inside my little bag below me. Ooh. So I'm starting to get that saddle shape, you see? Oh, these take forever when you do them right. And, you know, if I'm going to do it, got to do it right. Even though I probably have like 15 sticks somewhere in the yard from my old videos where I would just do some notches. So I probably already have options out there, but that would be cheating. Even though I did them, it would still be cheating because it's supposed to all be one video. All right, so just getting away some of these little frayed edges. I'm not going to go crazy saddle because it'll take forever, but I'm going to give you a saddle notch. So you can see, got some skin on there. It just, whoop, there you go. You can see it swoops. I do have to go more. I do have to go more. I can't do that to you guys. I can't do it to me. All right. All right. Man. And then trying to hold it so I can display as I go. I'm finding out it's kind of a pain in the nuggets. You know what I mean? Because normally I would just have the stick down and I'd be carving. But having to make sure that I'm showing you guys what's going on, I'm not going to lie. It's kind of a pain in the butt. In the butt. What? What? In the butt? All right, here we go. So, there we go. So, now I'm getting a little deeper. All right. All right. With a really good knife, that goes a lot faster. So there you have it. So if I had 2 sticks and I'm trying to build some kind of shelter or something, and I'll put them together, I can make notches like that, and I can continue kind of like half a Lincoln log. All right, so that is all I have is some little hairs on there you can see, but that there is a saddle notch. So now I want a 90-degree notch. So for the 90, all I'm going to do is dig straight down. I'm going to wiggle my stick, wiggle it just a little bit, and then I'm going to go at an angle, and I'm going to try and catch to the point that I just wiggled down to, and that's going to be my 90. So pretty simple. That is a 90 to go with my hairy looking saddle. If it's not perfect, it's going to mess with my head. So saddle, a blunt end saddle, and a 90. So now reduction. So reduction is kind of like you're going to do like you're doing a 90, except you're not just going to go one spot. You're going to go all the way around the stick, and you want what you were just cutting to meet up. So it's going to go all the way around, and you're going to have to go a couple times and really press into the wood. And all I'm doing, it's called reduction because you're just reducing the size, the diameter of the stick at one point. And it's for building, and you can use it for trap making, things like that. So that's it. I did that once. So now I have a line going all the way around, and I'm going to do it again. All right. So people with like knives with perfect edge geometry and things like that, you're going to have such an easy time doing this. Figure if I got to challenge myself, I'm actually going to challenge myself. I'm going to use the worst one in the bin. All right. Let's see. Let's see. So I made it pretty big. So let's see here. So hopefully it won't take that long, but it shouldn't. So now I'm going to go in between the lines, and I'm just going to carve all the way from one line to the next, all the way around. And when I hit my line that I carved in, it's going to naturally stop the blade. So I'm just going to keep on going. Keep on going. This has got to be boring as hell. I think I might just do a pause, and I don't know, maybe it'll go fast enough. Once you get it going, it kind of goes fast. This is why you choose a really good knife and you don't pull the weakest one out of your bin, just to prove a point. All right, here we go. Now I'm gonna go a little quicker. I'm not gonna worry about perfection. I'm just gonna go for it. Once you get all the way around on one side, then you just flip it around and you go toward the other end. And that's going to happen real soon, so I'll show you. Ta-da! Ta-da! Let's see. All right, so I have there that notch. So now I have it like that on one side. So now I'm just going to flip it around, and I'm going to go to the other side and do this same thing. And then what you want to do is just make it the same size all the way through, and you kind of round it out. That part is pretty simple. The hardest part, I mean, nothing is really hard, but the hardest part is just making your first lines going around meet each other. I mean, if that's the hard part, then you're doing okay. So let's see. All right, I got little sticks everywhere in here. This is what happens when you get rainy days. Rainy days. All right, so it looks like I'm all the way there. Now I can start knocking down some of these little pieces, and I can go in a circle. And what you want to do is just make sure that there's no hard edges. You want to keep it round. That's it. So in order to keep it from having edges, make sure you're constantly spinning your stick. Constantly. That way you'll have a nice round piece of dowel. So that's it. That's it right there. And then all you got to do is go clean up all the little hairs that you left. Kind of like shaving. So that's it. Nice and round. All right, so that was easy. Every time it goes out, I lose my thing. Okay, so that was reduction. So next is beam. So with a beam, what we're doing is just 4 square notches. I call them the Lincoln log notch. So what we're going to do, I'm not going to do this one as big, but I'm just going to go 1, and then make another 1, 2. And like the round ones, like what we just did with the reduction, I'm just going to make a path, carve a path from one to the next. But the difference is where on the round one, on the reduction, I wanted no sharp edges, no hard edges. On this one, that's all I want. So I'm going to just go ahead and carve and try and keep it nice and flat. So this time I am not moving my stick in circles. I'm leaving it exactly where it is. Now, you're going to find that you have to get all four to match, right? They all have to be even. So when you make your first notches, they're not going to be all the way through the stick. So there's a square notch, right? But obviously it's not enough carved through. So what I want to do is I just want to make my second square notch and then bring it down, and then my third, my fourth, and then bring them all to size after that. So you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's just work. And you're going to get tempted because you're going to see like the little edge still there, and you're going to say, oh, I got to carve that out. But don't leave that, because you're going to want to get that afterwards. And I'll show you. Man, I'll tell you what, using this knife, because this is so thin on my big ass hands, I am denting the crap out of my thumb. I am denting the crap out of my thumb. This is a painful challenge, even though I made it painful. And not because I'm a sadist, but I wanted the challenge. All right, so there is one flat plane. There is two flat planes. So now I have to do two more and then just bring them together. So one there and one there. I'm telling you guys, if you're in a rush, this is not the challenge to do. Luckily, I just came back from, I went to the gym, and then I went to the Basketball Hall of Fame, because that's where I shoot a lot, and just to shoot some ball. And now I have nothing to do, so I have as much time as it's going to take for this stupid thing. Oh man, my thumb is killing me. Didn't think that through. All right, so now I have 1, 2, 3. I only need to flatten out that piece, and then it's all going to start to come together. One there. One there. And then push and carve. Push and carve. Boring ass video, I'll tell you. This is a boring video. I mean, I'm bored. I'm the one doing it. So now that I have all of my my edges, see, it's a nice square, round, and then square. Now I can just give it more depth, and it will be done. And again, it's good for building things, like building shelters, furniture, traps, things like that. It just helps two pieces of wood go together nice and easy. So it's a good skill to have, to be able to notch and understand how to put notches together. So it really is nice to know. It's just boring. It's boring to learn. It's boring to do. It takes time. But once you get it, there you go. Those are all, like, that's not an actual edge. It's carved out. So you'll see it's nice and square. All right, well, that's that one. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. I just lost what I was doing there. I don't know, guys. I'm terrible at this whole computer thing. All right, so we have blunt edge, we have saddle, we have a 90, we have a reduction, we have a beam. Whew, V-cut. This one's nice. A V-cut is exactly as it sounds. It's just an angle and an angle. So I'm going to take my knife, I'm going to dig at an angle, and I'm going to wiggle. That's it. And then I'm going to pull it out straight. Don't wiggle it out. Just pull it out straight. And then I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going to do that. So now I can just worry about making it bigger, deeper. And that's a V-cut. Is just going at two different angles toward each other and try to get the same angle. And it's not round in the middle, so make sure you just pinch it off to a point, and that'll be good. That's like if you're going to be tying something, you want that V notch to hold your line or whatever you're doing in place to where you're going, and that's what that is going to be good for. All right, that's nice. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be an easy one, and it is, but I'm so anal about it has to be right that even though it worked, I wanted it to work better. So there is a nice V notch. Boom, boom, it'll hold my line. I thought I had some around I was going to show you, but I'm pretty sure you could. Oh, I do have some. I'm pretty sure you could have guessed anyway. So if I'm doing that, now I can tie things together. I can pull down, I can pull the other way, and it's going to hold my line in there. All right, that's a V. Oh, so now a hook notch. A hook notch is really handy if like you're making a bow. You want that string to stick into a hook notch. So like a V, we're going at an angle, but then we're going at the same angle in the opposite direction. So it's a little different, and it's harder to get right because you're doing two angles at the same angle to make a hole. So it's kind of weird, but we're gonna do it. So what I'm gonna do is just carve in. Almost like I'm doing a saddle, and then I'm going to carve in from a different point going in the same direction until I can get both pieces to meet. And once I have that, the piece that I'm cutting into is going to just naturally fall out. So it's just about getting them to meet without going too far, and that's the hard part, is not going too far, because if you do, then now you got a saddle. Let's see here, I just want to get some of this cleaned up. All right, so now I have that going that way. So if I was making a bowstring, my bowstring would fit in just like that. See how that holds in really nice? That's not going anywhere. I could pull with everything I have on that, and it's not going. So that's how you do a hook. So now we're going to do a hole. And a hole is similar to your beam, except you only really need to go down two sides. So what I'm going to do is make one nice deep crevice here, and then line it up to another deep crevice here, and then join them. So just like on the beam, it's basically doing the same thing. You're making a flat spot that's thinner than your original stick. That's it. That's all it is. And it's not hard. It's really not hard. I don't know what this challenge is for. I honestly don't, but Scab said, hey, we're doing this. So I said, okay. You know what I mean? He doesn't even have to ask. Scab could just say, hey, I just put this out, so let's do it. And I'll do it. I'll just do it. It's the way we work. All right, so now you'll see I have a square notch, but I want it deeper, so I'm going to once again carve in, and once again carve in, and all that's going to do is help break apart the wood when I get to that depth, and it will make it easy to clean up. So that's a nice. So now I'm just going to do the other side, and then I have to do the other side of the stick the same way. There we go. A lot of people use different woods, like soft woods like willow and things like that. I use whatever is around. So this happens to be what I had an abundance of, and this is what I'm using. All right, so there we go. There we go. So that is going to be just like that, and now I have to do the same thing on the other side. Now this is to make a hole. You can put line there, and you can tie things together. Some people just do it as a decorative thing, but they can be used. All right, so I want to make sure. Look how straight I am. Look how straight and manly I am. All right, so right there. All right, got that. Got that, and I just want to make a thin board in the center. That's literally all I'm doing. And the hardest part is to not go all the way through and meet them, because then you'll break it. And then you have failed. You have failed. So, but you don't want to leave it too thick because you still have to drill a hole in it. So all that's left is this, the hole, and then the sharp point. So those are the only two that's left. So I swear we're almost done. There we go. You heard that crunch. So now I have like a much thinner piece, and now I'm going to make it even thinner. So let's see. Let's see. Making it thinner and keeping it square is the trick. It's just keeping it to a nice level. And I want to make sure that it doesn't have to be straight all the way through, but if you're linking two pieces together, you want it as straight as possible. So that's what I'm going to do here. And then if you have two pieces cut the same way, each with a hole, then you can literally put two sticks together with a line tied up. It won't go anywhere. It's really good for making shelter. All right, so let's see. I think I'm almost there. Once that's done, making a point on the other end is elementary. Elementary. All right, I think that is as much as I'm gonna need right there. So I was gonna put it down and go get something else, but this is the something else. All right, now I got to get out this awl and my thumb. I can barely feel my thumb. I'm not gonna lie. This knife was the wrong knife to use, but it makes me happier because that means it's the right knife to use. All right, so I'm gonna use my awl. And if you have a really pointy tip, you can do that. And all I'm gonna do is twist and shout. Shout when it comes to the other end and pokes me in the finger. All right, so literally I'm just going to keep twisting, kind of like a drill. You can make bow holes the same way for fire making. But right here, this is just going to be a hole to put two pieces of wood together. So I am making a mess. So I am getting to that point. I can feel it. There it is. It's going all the way through. Now, once I get it all the way through, what I want to do is take my awl and put it in the other direction so I can make it the same size. So it's one size all the way through, just like that. And now I have a hole in a piece of wood that I can put line through. Just clean up the edge of my hole. And then I don't know if this line's going to be strong enough, but we'll soon find out. It should be. As long as I can get past the phrase. The frayed parts. Alright, let's see. I can see it going through. I can see it. This is why we have an awl. This is why we have an awl. So, just like that. Now I can use it. I can tie things. I could fish with it. And anything. So, having the ability to make a hole in a piece of wood, most excellent. All right, last thing. Last thing is just a sharp point. Luckily, I have the smallest knife for this, which means I have the least amount of torque that I'm going to be able to get onto this. So this is going to suck because it's a really thick piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm just use my thumb against my thumb, and I'm going to push down and make a wedge, and I'll show you. I'm trying to get it in the garbage here. So you see that here is where it started, and instead of just cutting this way, I'm wedging. I'm going inside. And what that's going to do, while it's harder to push, it's going to create less work in the long run. And I have it leaning over the garbage bag, and both cuts completely missed. All right, so in just 2 cuts, I'm getting really close to what I need. So now we'll make a 3rd cut. Let's see here. Yeah, into the garbage. Nope, it jumps. It jumps every time. All right, so now I'm going to cut on this side. Man, I would love to know what everybody else is using for a knife and see how many people took a rusted, broken knife, fixed it themselves, gave it a quick edge, and then used it to do this. All right, so now that I have 4, like you see how I made a block there. Now I'm going to go to each corner of that block, and I'm going to take down each corner. There we go. And until I get a smaller block. And I'm just going to repeat that process. I'm going to find the hard edges, and I'm going to carve off the hard edges until I get a nice point. Now, a point is good for lots of things. You can make spears for hunting or fishing. You can make pit spikes, tent spikes, something to hold clothes with. You can make a fence. You can make hot dog sticks, things like that to cook food with. Just about anything you could think of needing a point for, you know what I mean? For extra protection, it is always great. That's why I always mention pit spikes. You dig a little hole near the entrance to your camp where you know you're not going to walk in it in the morning when you have to pee. And any critters coming up to your camp, if you dig a hole and you take a bunch of pit spikes and you put them in a pit, when they step through, well, it's going to make them not want to keep walking forward. So that's how that works. Now I'm going off center, and I'll show you why. You see the middle there? The middle has like a brittleness to it. So I'm going off the center so I can keep the actual point strong. So know what kind of wood you have and know what the middle is going to look like, because you might not want the middle as your spear point. All right, so now I'm just going to make it sharp. And by that, it's just death by 1,000 cuts type thing. There we go. Some little fine touches. And you can put literally a needle point on a stick that will be sharp enough to go through just about anything. And it will. I mean, this would go through me with ease. The thing is, it's going to be sharp for one hit, for one use. It'll be sharp enough to go through something lots of times, but it's going to be needle sharp one time. And that right there is needle sharp. So now we did our tri-stick. We got the blunt, we got the saddle, we got the 90, got our nice dowel. We have our little block there. We have a V, we have a hook, we have a hole, and we have a sharpened point. Ta-da! So now we have a mess. All right, so well, that was easy. That's it for this one. I am Donnie B all day. Until next video.